mean? You try and you try and you give it all. You give it all to her.
Trump's marriage to Melania isn't just a relationship, it's his Achilles heel. When Jimmy Kimmel and Jim Carrey exposed the cold reality behind the Trump union on national television, Donald didn't just get mad, he had a complete meltdown. The fascinating part? Trump can handle being called incompetent, corrupt, or even criminal, but suggest his trophy wife doesn't actually like him. That's when the orange man turns red with rage. Today, we're breaking down exactly what Kimmel and Carrey said that triggered such a volcanic response, and why comedy might be the most effective weapon against a man who can't stand being laughed at.
To relieve the stress, you know what I mean? It's a stress reliever.
And here we have...
That's Space Force.
That's the Space Force, yeah.
That's the beginning of Space Force.
Trump's got thick skin for most jokes, but something about this Kimmel and Carrey combo hit different. You ever notice how some comedians make Trump laugh along, while others turn him into an angry tomato? That's because most comics just poke at his policies or his hair, but Kimmel and Carrey did something way worse. They targeted his marriage and his ego at the same time. These two created the perfect comedy storm. Kimmel brings that dry, smarty-pants humor where he doesn't even smile at his own jokes, while Carrey is like a human cartoon who can turn his face into silly putty. Put them together, and you've got a comedy nuke that even the orange turd couldn't ignore.
This whole thing has brought back my 8-year-old self. It's been a gift from God. It's like literally like brought me back to 8 years old where I used to sit in my room. Trump is toast.
Most political comedians go after boring stuff like policy failures or contradictions. Yawn. But these guys went straight for Trump's soft spot. His need to look like a big man with a hot wife who actually likes him. That's the thing about Trump. He can handle being called corrupt or stupid, but suggest his wife can't stand him. That's when Grumpy Trumpy comes out to play. Kimmel's pizza menu joke was simple, but super effective. He compared Trump's leadership to a restaurant that changes its menu every 15 minutes based on the owner's mood. Today, we have the fired supreme with extra chaos. Or maybe try our conflicting statement stuffed crust. The audience couldn't stop laughing because it made perfect sense. We've all been to that one sketchy restaurant where nothing works right. And suddenly, everyone understood exactly what it's like when Trump runs a country. This wasn't just funny. It took something complicated like government dysfunction and made it so simple your grandma could get it. Instead of using big political words, Kimmel used pizza. Pure genius. He took Trump's mess of a presidency and served it up like a badly made pepperoni pizza that nobody ordered. The thing about internet jokes is they spread faster than Trump's lies. This segment went everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, millions of views within hours. Trump couldn't escape it. His usual trick of calling something fake news doesn't work when everyone's laughing. The White House can block reporters, but they can't block millions of people sharing comedy clips. Then Carrey took things to another level. He started with funny faces, but suddenly got all serious about how Trump made being a liar and a bully seem normal. It was like when the class clown suddenly gives a smart answer and the whole room gets quiet. That mix of silly and serious hit harder than just jokes alone. What made their approach work so well was using humor like a ninja. They weren't just telling jokes. They were sneaking important criticism inside those jokes. It's like when your mom used to hide vegetables in your favorite food. By the time Trump realized what was happening, he'd already swallowed the medicine with the candy. Their comedy worked as a perfect Trojan horse. People tune in for laughs but walk away thinking, wait, that's actually a good point about this guy. And while Trump's followers might ignore serious news programs, they still click on funny videos. That's his kryptonite. When criticism comes wrapped in jokes that people actually want to share. But here's the real zinger. All this policy stuff wasn't even what made Trump go nuclear. He's used to people saying he's bad at being president. The part that really set Donnie Diapers off was what they said about his marriage. And boy did they go there. When Kimmel showed clips of Melania swatting Trump's hand away for the 100th time, the audience howled. When Carrey acted out Trump trying to hold Melania's hand while she pulled away like she'd touched a hot stove, people lost it. These weren't just jokes. They were highlighting something everyone can see but nobody in Trump's circle dares mention. His own wife doesn't seem to like him very much. And that's the sort of thing that keeps Trump up at night, rage tweeting at 3 a.m. Not international relations or economic policy, just the simple fact that two famous guys pointed out his wife seems to dislike him as much as most of America does. Because at the end of the day, Trump can handle being called a bad president. But being called a husband so terrible that his trophy wife visibly recoils from him? That cuts right to his core. What happens when comedians point out that Trump's own wife looks like she'd rather be anywhere else whenever he's around? It stings way more than any policy joke. Trump can handle being called dumb or corrupt, but suggest Melania can't stand him. That's when the Twitter fingers start flying. Carrey and Kimmel went right for the jugular by focusing on all those awkward Melania moments we've all seen. You know the ones, where she swats his hand away like he's got cooties, those frozen smiles that disappear faster than ice cream in July when she thinks the camera stopped rolling, and how she stands 3 feet away from him at official events. These weren't made-up jokes. They just pointed at stuff that actually happened. The real knockout punch came when Carrey called the Trump marriage capitalism without conscience. Ouch! He basically said their whole relationship is just a business deal where nobody's having any fun. Kimmel twisted the knife even more by joking that Melania's book smelled like Slovenian prenup ink. The audience went nuts because everyone was thinking it, but these guys actually said it out loud. This kind of joke hits different than saying Trump's policies are bad. When comedians make fun of his immigration rules or tax cuts, he can just say they're stupid liberals who don't understand politics. But when they make fun of his wife not wanting to touch him, there's no good comeback for that. Every man wants people to think his wife likes him, even grumpy Trumpy. The segment showed clips of all those times Melania looked trapped in her first lady job. Remember when Trump tried to grab her hand at that Israel visit and she practically jumped away? Or those White House Christmas videos where she decorated trees with all the enthusiasm of someone getting a root canal. The comedians just pointed at these moments and the audience couldn't stop laughing, because we've all seen them. All these jokes about Melania connect to a bigger point. Trump treats everyone like they're part of a deal. Friends, employees, wives, kids, they're all just there to make him look good or make him money. The comedians turned his marriage into a perfect symbol of how he sees the world. What can this person do for me? The best part? Trump's defenders couldn't say the jokes were fake news because the proof was right there in videos that everyone's already seen. Those hand swats are all over YouTube. Those frozen smiles are in a million photos. They couldn't claim liberal media edited the footage because this stuff happened on live TV. When the orange turd supporters tried to defend him, they just looked silly. Making fun of Trump's marriage wasn't just about getting laughs. It was actually super political. If a guy can't even make his own wife happy, how's he gonna run a country? If his closest relationship is cold and fake, what does that say about how he treats regular Americans? The personal became political in a way that Trump couldn't wiggle out of. Trump can pretend he doesn't care when people call him corrupt. He can act tough when they say he's incompetent. But being called a husband so awful that his own wife can't stand him, that hits right in the ego. The thing about Donnie Diapers is he desperately wants everyone to think he's a big, strong man that women love. These jokes painted him as a creepy old guy his trophy wife tolerates for the cash. No wonder he went ballistic. And how did Trump respond? Exactly how you'd expect, by attacking Kimmel personally. He claimed Kimmel once begged to have him on his show, trying to make himself look important. Classic Trump move. Instead of addressing the actual jokes, He tried to make Kimmel look desperate, but this just proved everything the comedian said about his thin skin. If the jokes weren't true, why get so mad? Every angry tweet just made more people watch the comedy segment. Every denial just made people focus more on those awkward moments with Melania. It's like when someone says, "Don't look at my bad haircut." Suddenly, that's all anyone can see. Trump tried to fight back, but he just made everything worse for himself. The more he denied having marriage problems, the more people wondered if they might be real. The whole episode showed why comedy is so powerful against guys like Trump. You can ignore serious criticism, but it's much harder to ignore people laughing at you, especially when they're laughing about something that might actually be true. You know what really scares guys like Trump? It's not serious political opponents in fancy suits making big speeches. It's comedians making people laugh at them. Comedy strips away all the fake tough guy stuff and shows the truth underneath. That's why Donnie Diapers got so mad. This whole thing teaches us something important. Even the toughest looking politicians have weak spots. For Grumpy Trumpy, it's his sad marriage that gets him fired up. Next time some politician loses their mind over a joke, think about what that joke revealed. The truth hurts, but it hurts even more when everyone's laughing at it.